caught wife having emotional affair with ex. So I caught my 25 wife, 22 text messages with her ex in March. Confronted her about it and she said I should be grateful to her ex because apparently she was suicidal and her talking to him saved her life. She initially said that she only spoke to him a few times, but after conducting my own investigation I found that she had been speaking to him for 4 months. We have been married for nearly 3 years now and we have a son, 18 months, together. I was trying very hard to get a higher paying job as the job I had was casual and there was no staff. So I would spend a lot of time with career advisors, tweaking my resume, enter the applying for 100 jobs every day, etc. She never supported me during that time as she was busy doing her thing. I finally landed a 6-figure job and first week on the job I find out she's been cheating and she says I should be grateful to her ex. I called her father to the house to tell him what she's been doing and that conversation somehow turned back onto me and how everything is my fault. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but my issues were within the confines of the marriage. She kept talking to him after this and even was about to meet up with him. When I found out she was going to meet up with him I confronted her again and told her WTF are you doing? After hours of back and forth she eventually cancelled the meet-up. Upon reflection now, I can't believe I stooped that low. I also accepted that it was my fault so I had to fix it. Anyway, in May I got an offer to work interstate, 4-hour flight, for an even higher salary and I took it for 2 reasons. 1. Higher pay. 2. Get away from the situation so I can think clearly. 1 week after starting my new job she was very ill and I had to return and be by her side in hospital. After a week in hospital, her family sat me down and said that we should separate and that her ending up in hospital was my fault and that I abandoned her and my son etc. I was like WTF, but I was so beaten mentally that I accepted that it was my fault and we separated. Her mother and ex have the same birthday in June so she told me that she was going to text him happy birthday message. I said no you won't. And she replied I'm not asking you I'm telling you. I thought hell let me ask a throwaway question so I asked if she had sent nudes to him and she said yes, because I never gave her any attention. Now as you can see I'm not one to make quick decisions so I slept on this newfound information. I met with some very close friends of mine who I respect highly. They had no idea anything was going on as I never told anyone anything about my marriage. They were quite shocked to hear this and said I need to get out of this mess. So on the first week of July I went to her family home where she is living with my son and told her in front of her family that I'm leaving her because she has been having an affair and sending nudes to her ex. She initially tried to call me a liar, but I told her I have all the text messages, photos, and video evidence. She then acknowledged that she did send nudes. Her family were very hostile to the point that they blocked the door so I couldn't leave. They said they wanted to also tell me what I did wrong and I was like I didn't come here to listen. I came here to tell you what's good and bounce. I said I'd call the cops if they keep me hostage and they eventually let me out the house. The day after we had an appointment for our son so I picked him up and she also jumped in the car. She was crying and begging me to forgive her and that she wants a fresh start etc. I said I need time and space away from her and I took the next flight to my job. I have been thinking for 2 months now and the only thing I'm worried about is my son. She says that she's a changed person now and whatnot but I can't really take her word for it anymore. She could have another agenda. I've been paying for everything till now. $10,000 in rent for our house that's been sitting empty since May. I've come back for 2 weeks to see my son and I've met her in person yesterday. She's crying, apologizing saying we need a fresh start and now I'm lost. I feel like I'm putting myself in the firing line again. I really love the woman and she betrayed me when I needed her support most. Now I'm in a much better position financially. I have a few small investments that are doing quite well. And now I need to really think about what's best for me. Please advise what logical solution to this and let me know if I can provide clarification on anything. Thanks. Edit, she has depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and a few other mental health issues. She also has a history of being suicidal. A few weeks ago she did bring up that she is feeling like she should end it if this doesn't work out, which has made me a bit worried. Like, is that my issue? She is the mother of my child. IDK, it's pretty messed up. She is still following her ex on Instagram. To add a little more background information, our son was born in January 2021. He was quite ill and was in and out of hospital for 3 months all up. During this time I was in and out of jobs because every time something happened to the kid I had to leave during work hours to attend to my child, take him to hospital, etc. So we were broke AF. No, during this time we were both pretty depressed and it seemed like our fate was pretty bad. We would fight over the smallest things and it was just a toxic cycle that we couldn't get out of. My son had pretty bad eczema, constipation, kidney issues, and the list goes on. So getting him ready would take around 30 to 40 minutes. His body wraps couldn't be dry as his skin would dry then itchy. So in November last year I decided that I need to get a proper job so I can sustain the household. During this time I would leave the house daily and meet with a friend of mine who was a bit more successful. He basically told me I need to lie on my resume to get a solid gig that is manageable and high paying. I'm a pretty fast learner, so I wasn't too fussed about competence. After 4 months of applying for 100 jobs per day, I finally landed a worthwhile job. During this time she would say why don't I give up and let her find work instead while I stay home and look after the child. I realized she isn't supporting me, so I stopped updating her on the progress. Little did I know she was getting cozy with her ex the whole time. Hope this adds some context. Update: left her and feel liberated. I've posted on this forum earlier when I was going through it all. I've finally made my decision to move forward and start a new journey in my life. So many good things have happened since. I feel amazing. Working on myself and loving it. I want to thank you all for your support. It really meant a lot. 50-50 custody and only child support. The child has no fault in this and is the only one that is lost. So we agreed to keep him neutral and I will pay for his expenses. Well, it's her loss. I've been focused on creating a better life and things have started working out very well. I've been given opportunities bigger than I've ever dreamed of. If she couldn't hold it down when things were bad, then I can't count on her when life is good. A part of me still says that she did stick out for a bit of the struggle, so should I buy her a car to drive my child around? She has an old car which I bought for like $3,000. I'm not sure. If I do that she might think she can ask for anything. She doesn't know that I have accumulated some wealth and I think it might only create more problems even though I have good intentions. I'm not sure. Please advise if you can.